All right, so this is part 2 of the videos for the last week, last full week of January. And again, look down in the comments. All the questions I'm answering in this particular video are there. I'm keeping these to about 10 minutes, so they're sort of bite-sized chunks. Your questions are random, but they're yours. So let's get you some answers. All right, if all the precautions we're currently taking don't work, does that mean we have to go online? I'm just curious because it seems like the plexiglass is our last shot at stopping spread as much as possible. So that's actually not a bad question because I can see how it would seem like that. The plexiglass is actually something that DHEC, South Carolina DHEC, offered to us way back at the beginning of the year. And back then I don't know why we didn't, honestly. There's a reason, and it's not a crazy reason. I think maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak for other folks because I'll start a rumor. But we realized, hey, this is actually not a bad thing because, we started having people get quarantined all the time. I'm sure some of you guys watching this have probably been quarantined because somebody near you got sick. What the plexiglass lets us do is if you're wearing your mask and we've got the plexiglass and the person next to you gets sick, well, the plexiglass and the mask hopefully are enough barriers to keep you from having to be sent home for a period of time. Now, do we know for 100% that that's gonna work? Well, we can't promise anything is 100%. We just can't. But logically, it seems like maybe it's worth a shot. Okay. It doesn't actually change our core policy about going online, which is that if we at any point have 5 active cases in school at once, we'll do online. Okay. So at the moment, I'm not aware of any. Maybe there are some. They haven't released it to teachers. In fact, I think since we've been back, I haven't heard of any new cases. A couple folks quarantined, somebody at home is sick, whatever, but that's it. So yeah. So if we hit 5 again, we would go back online. Now the question that I have is, so let's say we're back for a week and then we're online for 2 weeks and then we're back for a week and then we're online for 2 weeks. How long do we do that until we just say, this is silly, let's just go online? The answer is, I don't know. I've asked it and they say, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're hoping it's not the case. We're hoping that masks plus the plexiglass plus, the spacing out as much as possible will do it. And yeah, that would be my hope too. Somebody says, I am worried about America in the near future. It's getting harder and harder for me to be patriotic when there's so much bad stuff happening here. I love I love the honesty of this question. Okay, because sometimes, like, who wants to put on an American flag when you feel like your country is not doing great? It's kind of like, would I cheer for Clemson even if they're having an awful season? I mean, I cheer for Ohio State University if I'm going to cheer for anybody. Anyway, so, but you get the point. Guys, here's the thing. I think the most patriotic thing that you can do is to, 2 things. Number 1, know what your country's ideals are, okay? Understand what the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is about as much as you can, right? I mean, there are constitutional scholars who argue about the finer points, but you should understand, what is our government supposed to look like, right? What rights should we have? And then number 2, when you see people who are like, trying to say we don't actually have those rights, or when you see people who are doing things that seem to go against the spirit of the founding of the country, or the ideals that we believe, speak up, right? I think if you love the country, the best thing you can do is to fight for it, right? So if I love my wife, which I do, and she comes in and she's like, I don't know if our marriage is working or not, which we're good. Okay, don't freak out. She says, I don't know if our marriage is working or not. I shouldn't just be like, yeah, you know what, we got some issues, let's get a divorce, I guess we're done. The most loving thing I should do at that point is say, you know what, we are having some issues, and I hate that. Let's get some counseling, right? I need somebody to come in and point out what's going on in our relationship. What are the things that I'm not doing that I should be doing? What are the things that you're not doing that you should be doing? And let's together commit to, we're going to make this thing work. And the country is the same way, right? Fight for it. Don't just give up on it and wash your hands of it. And when you see some of these crazy things going down, speak up. Now, don't get dragged into stupid social media fights like I do that from time to time, and it's always a waste of time. People tend to not get Like if you have a big Instagram back and forth, you're not going to change anybody's mind. It's just not going to happen. But you can say, hey, why don't you private message me and let's talk, or let's get together for coffee and let's talk, and talk to people one-on-one. And you'll find, number one, you'll grow, they'll grow, and actually we're better off because we learn to talk instead of just yell. Okay, I'm just telling you, this has been my experience. Give it a shot. And you know what? Fly that flag. Go for it, because I think it shows I'm going to fight for this thing. You don't just wear, to answer my question from before, you don't just wear Clemson colors when Clemson's winning. If you're a real fan, you wear the colors even when you're having a bad season. And people are like, man, they must really love something. I don't know what it is, but they love something. Somebody says, I wanted to say you're doing a great job being flexible. I hope. I'm not sure. And handling the semester while still delivering content in a fun way. Well, I'll let your classmates decide if that's a true statement or not, but I appreciate your effort. Let's see. Somebody says, I didn't think this test was going to be on, I thought this was only going to be on chapter 5 of the notes. I wasn't expecting there to be a lot of questions from previous chapters. That's what we do. I told you that on the front end that there would be some review content. There will be on almost every test. The only exceptions to that are right before the midterm. I don't, because the midterm is review content. So I'm sorry that you missed that. Somebody says, thank you for all the help you've given me the last month or so. I actually don't know who it is because I'm looking at these unnamed, but you're welcome. I'm happy to do that. Somebody says I need to add an assignment to the gradebook for you, and I will do that. Ooh, do I think World War III will happen if China invades Australia like they have been saying they will? So here's what I know. First of all, frankly, I'm going to sound like an idiot, maybe. I haven't actually heard them say that. What I do know is this. China has a number of boundary disputes in the Pacific Ocean. They've had that for years and years with the Philippines over where it is their sea end and the Philippines sea begins. And, with Taiwan, they claim that they own Taiwan, that Taiwan is actually like a rebel state that is actually a part of China. China does this, and a lot of it is just kind of, maneuvering to say we're big and we're powerful. So I don't think that they actually would. Number two, they're even if they're saying they're going to attack Australia directly, I don't think they actually would. Part of it is there's this thing in a lot of Asian cultures, definitely China, called saving face. And the idea is you want to project strength outward, right? You never want to look weak. And so if you have a boundary dispute with someone, you want to look big and powerful. But China knows that invading a sovereign nation that's a member of NATO, right, that's going to be defended by all these European countries and American countries and some, I don't know, are there South American and African countries in NATO? I'm not sure. And other Asian countries, they know that that would be a real problem. So yeah, I think there might be, that could result in World War III. I also don't think it would. My guess is they're probably fighting over some territorial claims, not like full-blown invasion stuff. Okay, China's way too smart for that. They're doing way too well financially, economically, to risk a war that they could theoretically lose. At least it would cost them in the short run. Stalin should have known communism wouldn't work. There were red flags everywhere. That's beautiful. I love that. Let's see here. Oh man, why do people think that red pandas are cuter than great pandas? I don't know, man. Red pandas, I think I'm right, aren't even pandas. They're just called that. So what's up with that? First of all, they're like fake pandas. That automatically should disqualify them from the running. But I'm with you. Great pandas are better. If you ever get a chance to see them, see them. I actually saw them in Beijing once, which was awesome. So there you go. Is my family doing well? Yeah, my family is doing well at the moment. We've so far been, as far as I know, relatively untouched, at least my immediate family, with COVID. But we're also all being really cautious because my sister and her brain tumor and all the things that go along with that. So I appreciate you asking, though. My kids are getting a little bit tired of being at home, but my son says he can do it forever. We want to send him back to school in the fall because he needs contact with other human beings. If you have a 9 or 10-year-old sibling and you want them to, I don't know, be pen pals or something, let me know and we'll work that out. You can find out from my son what I'm really like. How am I? I think I'm doing great. I think I'm doing great. There's a lot of, I constantly ask myself, am I doing the right thing, right? Is staying home the route to go or not? And I don't know. I think it's the best thing for other people, like my sister. But it's hard. I'll just tell you that it's hard sometimes. Okay, but I'm doing great. So there you go. Okay, I know that there's another there's another question sheet that I sent out at one point, and here we go. There it is. I'm going to tackle it really quick because they're not very long. So I'll just lump it in here and we'll be done. Somebody says, and this is from a long time ago. I didn't realize there were questions here. I am so sorry. Somebody says, do I believe in mind over matter? Not really. Because, and I think it's because of the follow-up question. The follow-up question is, if mind over matter is true, does that mean telekinesis is real? Well, there is a sense in which, you know, if you're running and you're like, I'm tired, I can't go, you can sort of force yourself mentally to keep going. Because your body does actually have more energy reserves and you can force it to go. But where I draw the line is, so if I believe in telekinesis and I think that means I can move this pencil with my mind, true story, weird story, but true story. When I was in high school, I was probably about a junior. I was at a cast party. I was in a play. We're up late. After the play, we all go to somebody's house and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and I put a spoon on the carpet and I just stared at the spoon for like, I don't know, half an hour, seeing if I could get it to move with my mind. Spoiler alert, the answer is no. I wasn't drinking. I was not drunk. I was not under the influence of any drugs. I promise you. But it seemed like a good idea at the time because it was 2 in the morning. All right, last question. How would you recommend getting started on the college process, especially with touring not much of an option? How would you suggest finding the right career choice and college to match? Okay, so here's what I'll do. I have in the past taught, what class was I doing this in? Econ. It was when I did econ. That's right. There are a couple career interest inventories that I'll link to down below, where I just ask you a whole bunch of questions and you're like, I'm interested in this and I don't like that. And yeah, that might be okay. And then it says, here are some jobs you can do. And it gives you information about how much money you can earn from them. And it's fascinating stuff. My guess is that if you did it, most of you probably wouldn't learn something brand new about yourself. You'd be like, oh, cool. It says I should be I keep taking them even as an adult because I'm like, maybe really I should be in the ballet or something. And every time I take them, it's like, you should be a teacher. And I'm like, but they don't make that much money, man. Come on. I love doing what I do. I really do. But it's pretty accurate for me anyway. It might be for you. And then it tells you can make about this much money if you do this, and here's something else to pursue. So that's good. Then you want to figure out, okay, so what colleges am I already interested in, and are they going to help me? Like if I want to be a teacher, does USC have a good education program? And you can talk to USC about that. Their admissions people would be really happy to talk to you about that. A lot of these colleges are putting up like virtual tours, which is good, but more than a virtual tour, like you got to think the place it looks good. That's true. But it would also help if you could sit in on, even if it's virtually, and you might want to ask about this, can I hear any of the lectures by some of these teachers, right? That would be really helpful because if you're going to sit under some of these people, especially in the department you're in, for me, education, I want to know if they're any good or not. Because if they're boring and I feel like I'm not learning anything, cool. If you sit there, on the other hand, and you're like, whoa, my brain, I listened to 10 minutes of that lecture and it blew my mind, that might be a really great fit for you. So that would be my option. Now, as far as matching your career and your college, that's a little bit harder, honestly. My guess is, or my advice would be, find the colleges that you're, thinking about going to, whether it's because of distance or because of, family connections or whatever, and talk to them about the programs that they have that would help you in your pursuit of your interests. That's my advice. I don't know if it's any good or not. Do I play any sports? And if not, what's your favorite sport to watch? As I used to play baseball back in the day. It's been a while. I think I was in elementary school, but I loved baseball, and I still like playing, you know, a pickup game here and there with friends. I would watch baseball sometimes, but we actually don't even have an antenna right now, and I don't like or cable. Anyway, I don't watch a lot of sports. If I do, it'd be baseball or basketball. Football is not really high on my list. I don't know, maybe soccer someday, maybe. Baseball and basketball are definitely my favorites, for sure. I think that's it, guys. Hey, if you have any other questions, let me know. You can always email them to me, or you're welcome to use the form that I'll probably link down below. All right? Hey, guys, it's been fun. Hope you have a good weekend, and I will talk with you soon.